Hello everybody, how are you? It's been quite a while I've done a sit down video. I had certain things in my mind that I needed to share with you. So I thought let's just catch up on a quick sesh. So as we dive into our conversation, please excuse the little noises here and there because I don't know, I guess somebody is mowing their lawn behind there and I can't help. I mean, the noises, a little bit noises here and there. I'm in my studio and there's work going on. So please excuse all that. Okay. So anyways, let's just dive into the topic. So the last month I have been coming across and counseling people who are from the age group of 35 and beyond. Okay. And while I was speaking to them and trying to figure out what the thing is, uh, the pattern of their problem could be different. Okay, what they're going through could be a different pattern, but the root cause or the crux of the matter, I have figured out, is the same. It's the same. All right. So there are different people that I have been counseling, but at the end of it, I figured out that the root cause is the same. And now I have figured out that that is what the world has termed as a, a midlife crisis. Okay? A midlife crisis. That's what they call it, a midlife crisis. And I feel very sad that, there is no crisis as such. You choose to put yourself in that situation. And the world has made it, has fixed it in our heads that this is very natural. Like, when women are at their menopause, this is very natural. Like, you will go through mood swings, and you will go through this, and you will go through. So people have termed it, and I feel that they have made it, like they have set a, they have caused a mindset that this is something that is inevitable. Like, this is something that I have to go through. All right. And once it becomes your mindset, then there is no way that you can escape it, because that's fixed. That's something that you have decided is going to happen. All right. So whether it's women or men, listen, nobody escapes this. Okay. But the thing is that there is no such crisis. This is the term the world has given you, a midlife crisis. Okay. There is no crisis. All right. And if you see, even on the outside, people feel, because things are happening on the outside, that's why I am going through this. There is nothing on the outside, because it is not the crisis on the outside, it's the crisis in your mind. It's what you have allowed in your mind, what you have not nipped at the bud. Okay, there are certain things, certain patterns, certain issues which you really need to nip it at the bud. Okay, and if you don't do it, then these pile up, and then this comes to you like a crisis. Then you don't know, when such a big mountain is facing you, such a big, you're faced with such a big mountain, then you don't know how to solve it. That's why it's always better to nip it at the bud. All right. And while I was going through these through their journey, and while I was listening out, as to what issues they're going through, I basically came to a conclusion, all right, that this is nothing else what the world terms as a midlife crisis. It is not a midlife crisis, it is your identity crisis. Yes, that is what it is. It is an identity crisis, and many go through this. All right, it's no exception, whether men or women. All right, if you don't figure out things much before, this is inevitable. Okay, it's inevitable. So while I was talking to them, many had issues where the children they're having trouble with the children, they're having children issues, or they're having at a particular age where they say that what might be this is, like I said, like the women are at the menopause stage, or the men are getting older, and that's why the couples don't get along, and there is more irritation, and there is more anger issues with each other. It is not that. It is only an identity crisis, beloveds. Because especially we, as an Indian household, okay, Indian parents, Indian husbands, Indian wives, we have not, specially, I'm talking about specially, okay? It could be happening all around the world, but I'm talking about specially what is very, very, familiar to our culture, okay? We give too much of importance, and we invest too much of our time in other people's lives, whether it be our kids, whether it be our spouses. We invest too much. In fact, I can't say too much. We invest just everything in their lives, okay? But then there comes a time where especially this generation, okay, the younger generation are way too smarter, and they are way too independent. But when they ask you for their independence, you start feeling that they don't need you any longer. And I'll tell you, this is the beginning of everything. The feeling of being unwanted, the feeling of no longer needing you, no longer requiring you. Like, when kids are on their own, okay, suddenly parents start feeling, oh my God, now he no longer requires me, she no longer requires me. Now, that's not wrong. That's not wrong, okay? The thing is that they have moved on in life, and that's how it should be. They got to move on in life. They are going to have their own lives, okay? But what happens with people who are behind their back, and after their lives, especially I'm talking about the parents, especially I'm talking about women, okay? You don't have a life of your own. And because you don't have a life of your own, you get very offended that my child, my son or my daughter now has her or his own life, and then you term it as they no longer require me, they no longer need me. Why should they need you? They are grown up, they have their own life. Now the problem is that you don't have your own life. You don't have your own life. That's why you because you've never had your own life, you've never had your own identity, you start feeling that they are wrong. You start feeling everybody around you is wrong. You start feeling, you start acting like a victim. And that's not right. That's not right. You cannot move through life with an attitude of a victim. That's not right. Much before in life, when your kids are younger, when you have, when you are in that stage of life, you must give time to yourself. You must give time, to know what are my likes. You must invest time in yourself. All right? And because when you invest time in yourself, okay, you get to know what you like, you begin to do what you like. That's you're giving yourself that importance. You're keeping yourself in that important place. And when you give yourself importance, that's more than enough. You don't require anybody else to give you importance, because you have your own life, and you have your own business, and you don't have the time to wait for others to give you that importance. Okay, you don't have the time. You just don't have the time. But if you're going to be investing everything in their life and not have an identity of your own, your identity is going to be tossed by anybody and everybody. Okay. And when you don't plan a life for yourself, then somebody else plans it for you. All right? Because if you don't have a plan for yourself, all right, your kids are going to decide how your day is going to go. Your kids are going to decide how your life is going to move. When you don't have a plan for yourself, then your husband is going to decide how your life is going to move. Anybody else is going to decide. In fact, we have gone to such crazy levels that we allow anybody to to decide how we're going to feel. We allow anybody, just for example, somebody has spoken something wrong about you, okay, or somebody didn't respond to you the way you wanted them to respond, and you carry that back with you back home, and then you're going to meditate over it. It's going to affect you throughout the week, or I don't know how many days, depends on what's your capacity for that, okay. And why should this happen? If they are calling you something else, like, listen, let me just give you this example. I was watching one of this video on YouTube, where it was a very funny video. Now this lady had a lisp, okay, and she could not pronounce Alexa, so she kept calling Alexa. Instead of Alexa, she kept saying Alisa, okay. Now Alexa did not respond. Why? Because that's not my name. You're calling me Alisa, and that's not my name. So I have no business to respond to you. All right. So that is exactly, I think, the way we should live our lives. If you're calling me something that I am not, I will not respond to you. That's your problem and your business. If you got something to talk about me, which I don't, that's not my identity. That's not me. Now the problem is that those who don't have their identity, they fall into this trap and they want to believe everything, and then everything affects them. Like some stranger will affect you. Just because some stranger has spoken something about you or commented something about you, it affects. Why? Because you don't have your own identity. But if I am strong in my own identity, and if I have my own identity, I know where I stand and I know who I am, I don't have to get affected by what people say. So are you understanding things here? Don't allow people to shape your life. You got your own life, you got your own choices, you have your own destiny, okay. And the day you give up your own destiny, God's plan for your life is not the same as God's plan for your children's life or your husband's life. It's different. But when you don't understand God's personal plan for your life, then you are all over the place. Then you're affected by everything around you. Why? Because you don't have a track. You are all over the place. Your identity is not intact. So, beloveds, that's not good. That's not good. Okay. So now I think we should get to know this. There is nothing called as crisis, or there is nothing. We are just affected by everything that happens because we have not invested time in ourselves. We have not given ourselves that much value. We have been all over the place. We've been only living other people's lives, and when they begin to live their own lives, we cannot tolerate it because we don't have our own life. That's the real crux of the matter, okay. So I mean, it's high time you need to move out of that zone, okay. You need to move out of that zone. Like, there are so many times I like to take myself for coffee. I like to take myself for dessert. I like to just take myself out just for a walk, okay. I love spending a lot of time by myself, because knowing you and being your own best friend is the most powerful thing. It is the most powerful thing, because when you're comfortable with yourself, I mean, the world does not affect you. It does not affect you. And when the world does not affect you, you're focused. And when you're focused, you're moving into your destiny sooner, because you're not wasting time. You're not wasting time in wounding your soul. And I'll tell you, listen, let me remind you what the Bible says. Beloveds, everything else will prosper, even as your soul prospers. So at the end of it, it's my soul condition. But if I let my soul loose, and if I treat it like trash, then it's going to take me a long while to reach my destiny. I'm not in for that. No, I'm not in for that. I need to reach soon. I need to grow. And there is no limit to growth. There is no limit to growth. Like the other day I was just sharing with somebody that God does not promote you according to your age. He promotes you according to your stage. What stage are you in? Are you still harboring that offense? Are you still harboring unforgiveness? Are you still the bitter person? Are you still jealous of everybody around you? Are you still that small? Then that's your stage, and that is what you will get in life. okay? And that's not good. I mean, you got to keep growing. You got to keep moving, because when you grow, when you go to a higher stage, you will begin to manifest a higher life. So, guys, I mean, it's time, like I was just saying, I take myself alone for walks or for whatever. I have decided listen, I spoke about the 2.0 version of you, and I'm living my 2.0 version. I don't want what I don't want in my life. Just because somebody else wants it, I cannot carry that burden. No, if that's not the pattern for my life, I will not entertain it. Now, I have learned to live my 2.0 version, and trust me, I'm enjoying life. Like, life has never been so free. It's never been so free. What I can say right now at this moment about my life is that forget about everything else, but I'm living a free life. I'm free here. I'm living a free life. And when you're free, every morning that I wake up, I rejoice. Like, there is joy. There is a very different kind of a joy inside of me. Why? Because there are no strings attached, and I'm not doing things that I'm not supposed to do. Okay, I have learned not to carry along with me extra burden that does not even belong to me, that does not even fit in my season. I no longer carry people who are not for my season. No, that's useless. I've wasted so much time in life. Now, no longer. I can't do this. And I'm enjoying my 2.0 version. I do what I like. Making YouTube videos is something that I'm enjoying. And now I'm able to do it more frequently. Why? Because I am not stuck to extra baggage. Okay? And when you're not stuck to when you're not carrying that extra baggage, you're able to focus. Okay? I'm doing my ministry. I'm focusing on my ministry. And I'm doing it much better than what I used to do before. All right? I'm going for my, it's been so long, I in between, because we carry so much with us, our life goes for a toss. Like, after so many years, I've again joined a dance class. I'm again doing things that I enjoy, other than my routine, and I'm loving life. I mean, that's what life is for. That's what life is for. But God has made it so simple. Why complicate it? Why complicate it? So, beloveds, that's what I wanted to just share with you. That, listen, don't give up your identity for anybody, because at the end of it, people will move on. Whether it's your kids, whether it's your spouse, whether it's anybody, they will move on. You got to be in a place where you're secure. You got to be in a place where you have your own identity, you have your own life. And when I have my own life, I got so much of my own business to do that I don't even have the time to think about what you just spoke about me, or I don't have the time to think about unnecessary things, because I got so much to do in life. Because my life is beautiful. I got to contribute a lot to the world. I got to contribute a lot to people who are watching me. Okay, that is all that I want to do. So I don't have the time for all these unnecessary things, and that's what you must figure out. Okay, just separate the unnecessary stuff that's not required. Trust me, you'll begin to live a very good quality of life. Okay, so that is what I wanted to share with you, and I so love to come here and give you and share with you things that I have understood and that have changed my life. I love doing that. All right, so I'll see you again very soon. Stay tuned.